Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So Midnight Gospel is a Netflix original series created by Adventure Time creator Pendleton, and it stars Duncan Trussell as Clancy. And so the general story is Clancy lives in this universe where people have these machines that actually allow them to travel to different universes and different planets. So it's kind of like the internet for them. And at the same time, Clancy is what's called a spacecaster. So basically, he's a YouTuber or a social media influencer. So whenever he travels to these different planets or universes, he's actually interviewing a variety of different creatures. But the funny thing is, the people that he's interviewing, they are actually people in real life. And so it's kind of odd where this has this interview style format, but everything else that's going on around it is really psychedelic. And that's probably the best word I can use to describe this 8-part series. And so getting to the things that I really like about this series is the fact that the visual appearance of this, it's extremely striking. And I go back to the word psychedelic. So if you're used to watching shows or especially animated features that have a lot of bright colors and just weird things going on, this is it. You know, this is basically you like taking drugs and just going on this amazing quest. And a lot of times you're just really marveling at everything that's going on in these different worlds and universes. And where you're going is really different from one planet or one episode to another. And so there's always something for you to look at. But it's just so crazy, the things that are going on in each one of these episodes, that it's really hard to process everything. And if you actually watch the episodes over and over, you'll notice a lot of little details in each one of these planets that he's on. So that's the first thing. If you really love a visually striking, weird, psychedelic looking animation, then this is it. Just kind of think of Adventure Time cranked up to 1,000%. That's kind of what this is. And then the second thing that I enjoyed about this series is the fact that this is more of an adult-oriented show. It's definitely not for kids, but the way in which they handle it, I found it very interesting. And it's kind of like a double-sided thing, and I'll get to that on the other half of my review. But overall, there's a lot of things that the actual creator of the show is trying to say in each one of these episodes. So it deals with a lot of serious things and topics, things like death, prison, politics. There's just a lot of things that it talks about here, and it does it in a way where it's kind of straightforward through the interview format, but at the same time, it also leaves a lot of room for you to think and interpret. So I think that's another thing that I enjoyed about it. And then the other thing that I would say you might get a lot out of this is the fact that since it does have this whole interview format, which is more formal, but then it has all this crazy wackiness going on around it. It's really dark, by the way. It's a dark comedy. It's a really nice balance between the two, at least for me. I just found it really funny. Okay, let's just say that. And I think that's something that you could go back to Adventure Time if you actually watch that animated series. It's similar to that, except for adults. And so those are like some of the main things that I did enjoy about this show overall. The overall look, the presentation, just the wackiness of it all. It's a really fun adventure to go on, to coin a phrase. So it's more Adventure Time than Adventure Time. And also the topics that they talk about, it's really some serious stuff that they talk about. And so it might make you think a little bit more about what's going on, in your own life, or what's going on in the world. So it's kind of funny how an animated show would make you think that way. If you love reading books, then check out Audible, which has the largest selection of audiobooks anywhere on the internet. Sign up today and get a 30-day free trial. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, getting into the things that I didn't like about this as much is even though I did like the overall format in terms of the interview and also the topics they were talking about, for some people, they might not like this because you might run into a case where you're watching this and you really don't care much about the interview and you're just so enraptured by everything that's going on around it. And at times I did feel like that, where I really just wanted to explore the world and kind of see all those things. And I kind of lost track of the interview. But through each one of these episodes, depending on what's interesting to you, that might be a very good episode for you in terms of just the interview format, because you could get a lot out of that. But I think for a lot of people who are watching this, who are maybe expecting some type of, normal narrative or story, they might not get that here. And then the second thing is, it kind of goes along with that, is if you are, expecting something that is more predictable, you're not going to get it here, because each one of these episodes, each one of these interviews is pretty much completely different from all the rest of them. And it's kind of hard for you to kind of figure out what is the real story. There basically isn't a central story. There is a central format. It goes to a different world, different universe, and he does interviews. That's the basic format. And so if you're expecting that type of stuff, you're not going to get it here. But I think those are like my main gripes with this. There's really not many bad things I would say there is about this show. If you just go in here just expecting a straight story and kind of knowing what's going on, this might not be the show for you. But if you're willing to go in this with an open mind and just to basically be engrossed in this entire world and everything that's going on around, you really be pleased with this, because it really is psychedelic, as I said earlier, but psychedelic in a good way. And I would say, at least for me, the final episode, episode 8, it's really touching, very heartwarming, and you'll understand what I mean when you watch it. And so that is my review of Midnight Gospel. If you've enjoyed series like Adventure Time, I think you really will enjoy this. Or even older movies like Heavy Metal, the animated movie, the original, I think you'll like this as well, because it has a lot of that craziness going on, just amped up to another level. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. Or if there's some other series that you've enjoyed recently, be sure to leave that in the comments as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Go Content Creators group, where you'll get access to additional videos and content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Go Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.